beginning, and they, of course, augment your hope and your expectations and your optimism, only, of course, for it to be destroyed later down the road, as is the case with dengue, as is the case, of course, with those prenatal babies that died in respective hospitals, as they did with, of course, the poor showing during COVID, having, of course, gobbled up over $22 billion on that particular matter with, of course, a parallel health system, and ended up with over 5,000, is it? Yes, 5,000 deaths from that particular disease. It is just appalling. But that being as it may, we have to, of course, make a decision, and to make it we must, because time is upon us. The time is ripe. Elections is around the corner, and of course, all of Trinidad and Tobago, or at least the vast majority, because there are those who are still stragglers and malingerers, and may not be on time, maybe not on time to make up their minds.
Frustration. I know they're trying to frustrate us.
All right, go ahead, caller. Sorry about that. I wasn't hearing earlier.
That's all right, Lennox. Andy told me just to talk to see if you're hearing me. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hearing you and everything. Again, boy, breaking current again, Lennox Smith, breaking current with boy, this is the third time. Blow! Current going and coming back.
Andy, and then you see people want all it to live stream the town meeting and think this is what they're gonna do all year. You're gonna cut them. You think they don't be cutting up camera and them live? They'll be cutting it up real bad. Anyway, yeah, okay, I can go ahead and talk now, right?
Yes.
All right, okay. First thing I want to say, I want to tell Barack Poe, the greatest illusion was when they brought that blind man, the visually impaired, I correct myself, the visually impaired Patterson in Woodford Square on the eve of the 2015 election to come to lie to the country, because that man literally lied to the country. And everything the man lied about Kamala and them about came to pass with Rowley. And today, 2024, we are seeing everything coming to pass. No forex, people starving, or everything the man talk about. And the next thing I agree with Barack Forward, I'm going to put it in my own way. You living in the country, you facing the pumps, you facing the groceries, you facing the pharmacy, the health centers, everything. But you want an MP to still come and tell you, look, vote for me, bro. You have to go because look at this is what you're doing all year. When are we going to learn? When are we going to learn? We need to be spoon-fed all the time. Andy, I don't want no MP to come in front of my gate, right? I know what I'm going through. And I can't wait to go and put my ex by the UNC. I can't wait. Because we definitely need a change in this country. Some people just like to be spoon-fed. Another thing, Andy, all your program is correcting lies, half-truth, innuendo, bringing the facts. That is all a tagline. Whereas I agree everybody's entitled to their opinion, you are not entitled to bring lies here. Because you are not different to the PNM. You are not different to Port of Spain who come here with his lies and other PNM callers. Then that would be defeating the purpose. We're supposed to correct what it is misinformation on this program. So it's not that everybody's entitled. Yeah, everybody's entitled to an opinion. But don't come with lies, half-truths and innuendos. And I want to tell Balmati, ball head Camille, you have no shame whatsoever. I remember when she was a senator in Lennox, I remember we were on the other side. When I raised this, when she said that she was living in a state of mendicancy and she needed that raise in pay. I guess she was still living in a state of mendicancy when she had the money hiding and she had back. And as Diego Martin said, she's lied so much. We really don't know who it was. We really don't know how much was in the handbag. This woman have no shame to talk about the thieves and them will not get increased, but all are not entitled to none either. PNMI's not entitled to any either. Because you abuse the credit card for in vitro, for wigs, for weaves, for jewelry, for furniture, for chandelier, and then come and lie to the nation it was for health purposes. Where were you hanging the chandelier? How was that benefiting you in your health-wise? But you see, God put it in a way now, Andy, that you cannot use none of the wigs or neither the weaves. God punish her for what it is she do. And you come in to talk about the thieves and them not going to get no increase. None only entitled to none neither. Let us find out how bad is their house billing. And then point your finger at people. Point your finger. When you want to throw stones at somebody's house, remember big boulders coming back. Thanks a lot, Andy. It was worth waiting on you. Take care.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Go ahead, Lennox Smith. By the meanwhile, I just need some things.
Yes, I share the view of the last caller. I think there is a propensity, obnoxious and annoying as it is, and offensive, frankly, and of course an insult to our independent and collective intelligence. So that, of course, people like Karen Robinson Regis will make such a, what I consider, simpleton statement about a very serious matter. Of course, I recall very, very distinctly her claim of mendicancy, meaning that she is in a state of poverty and that she is in abject need. And of course, I think criticize others for being hypocrites at the time in the acceptance of the award or the recommendations of the salary review committee at that point, or commission. And now on this occasion, she is making some very simplistic statements that really and truly she knows that has no basis in reality. And of course, it is an argument being made, try to, of course, deflect attention, one, and at the same time suggest that somebody else is in need, and at the same time trying to generate the feeling that she doesn't want it, when in fact she is, of course, using a strategy that suggests that she see in others that which is in her, on the one hand, and at the same time pretending not to, but in fact is in desperate need of getting it. Something similar to their efforts to try to look as though they don't need government at this point in time, and they don't want to get back into government. But as I said very elaborately last night, that of course a person who don't want to get back into government will not try to manipulate institutions. I think somebody brought that into the conversation. And someone who doesn't want to get back into office will not use their slim majority in the parliament to, of course, cause 3 additional seats in Tobago to be created in order to get an unfair advantage. Someone who don't want to get back into office will certainly not go to the other side of the globe, Samoa in this case, and then try to justify the presence of the Indian business magnate Jindal, justify, of course, him being in his office or in his presence. Nobody will do that. So we know. And of course, I use the ultimate example or analogy, like the rabbit in the Bianansi story that says, don't throw me in the bush now, don't throw me in the bush, but it's the damn bush they want to go. And when they get into the bush, of course, they watch at you and laugh. We will not countenance that. We know what the PNM gives, the nature of the Rowley and the Rowley administration and his minions. They have done enough for us to draw the should I say, the irrefutable conclusion that they are up to no good, and that there is always something sinister in terms of their actions. And of course, Robinson Regis merely exhibited another chapter in that saga, that unholy and of course very nefarious saga of wanting to stay in office, but pretending not so to want, and at the same time, hoping that that will of course fly with the people. I don't know how that flying, but that is their logic. Leave them to it, and of course their death knell will be sooner than rather than later. There are a number of other issues that are on the front burner as far as matters emanated from the news at this point in time. For example, government MPs mum on SRC, meaning the Salary Review Commission's suggested salary increases for them. Well, of course, why the MPs may be mum, I know of one MP that was not, because he was claiming that MP for Lavatil East Movan, Beyonce, he was claiming that he believed that the government will not pursue that particular those particular recommendations. But I want to say, let us not forget, it is that delaying process, that delaying tactic is part of their obfuscatory or their deflection agenda. Let us not fall prey to it. We must continue, of course, to bring on the front burner the question of the Auditor General and the Privy Council's obiter dicta that, listen, why it is that Ibsbert is not investigated. We must, of course, bring to the population and the focus that despicable conduct that reeks with, of course, the perversion of the course of criminal justice and the manipulation and the larceny of our resources, and allocating scarce resources, taxpayers' money to the Vincent Nelson matter, and attempting, of course, to convict a former, I should say, a former or associates of the UNC. I'm talking about Anand Ramlogan and Ramdeen. We must not forget at all the Brent Thomas matter, where, of course, one judge had cause to exclaim in a sort of extreme concern that he was kidnapped from another jurisdiction and brought here. And up to now, they are unable, of course, to prove an iota as to what they were suggesting when, of course, the matter came to their attention. Don't forget, of course, we have to, of necessity, keep reminding ourselves of the debacle that is the SSA, and the fact that at the end of it all, after Rowley said that they were planning, of course, to overthrow his government, that is another major figment of his very, what I consider to be active, pernicious, and a very expansive imagination for evil. Nothing dissimilar to when he brought those despicable emails, so-called emails, pieces of paper to the parliament, and of course claiming that he had some kind of information that...
Hold 1 minute, Lennox. Have a call here again. I'm just trying to put certain things together. Right. Go ahead, caller. Morning.
In a true democracy, he will be charged for treason. Go ahead, caller.
Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to the ground report.
Not have money because most of the time we spend the money. I am living with mom.
Go take with the background, please. Just organize move from the background and you go ahead and make a contribution, caller.
What I would like to say, Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, and Mikey, he has always talking about how many complaints or they get about the spraying at the community. Since TNM in power, we've never seen nobody coming and spraying. You have to buy cocktail, you have to buy spray. Most of the spray having and all these debts is in the government. They refuse to do anything to help the people because nobody is spraying the drain in your area, not clean. We have seen nobody cleaning the drain in decades since TNM in government. Never lie. That's why I talk about Rajpal and them because we really need their help and we don't see them. And when you talk, everybody say you make it complain.
People need to be educated about the side effects of marijuana, right? And you guys should be doing that on your program. Google it and you will find it.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. Oh boy. Go ahead. Next. Go ahead, Lennox Smith.
Yes, indeed, and of course, it is reminiscent of Dr. Rowley before the 2015 general elections when he said in Tobago that somebody was trying to kill him, assassinate him, all of which cumulatively, and when, of course, he was acting as a defender of the public's person. In other words, he was aggressively against corruption under the Manning administration. And when he got his turn at the wicket, so to speak, to use, of course, a cricketing term, he has turned out to be a promoter of corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and worse yet, infringement of the rule of law, and his insertion into, of course, constitutionally protected institutions in this country, notwithstanding, of course, the EBC, the Elections and Boundaries Commission, quite apart from the imbroglio that he created, the public embarrassment that he created, not only here in Trinidad, but people of the islands and in the region asking how the hell that could happen in a democracy, where, of course, he intercepted a shortlist that was supposed to be on its way to the Parliament. As far as the Police Service Commission shortlist is concerned and recommendations for the new Commissioner of Police at the time, and in the process had, of course, generated in the office of the President. He generated a level of toxicity never before experienced in Trinidad and Tobago. That is to say, he impaired integrity of that office by, of course, causing her to the President at the time, for May weeks, to not forward that shortlist to the Parliament as she would have legally been obligated to do. She being, of course, a former judge, but instead, of course, the reverse was the case back, and, of course, resulting in the entire commission resigning as a consequence of that devastating embarrassment to Trinidad and Tobago. Rowley came out, of course, ultimately and told us that it was he. And you're telling me that when they would have been out of office, having been satisfied, mass of the electorate, that when they get out of office, that he will not be subjected, as he would put it, he has brought it into the political lexicon or dictionary or vocabulary of the politics in this country when he talks about blue lights and silver bracelets. That is what should await not only him, but of course his entire cabinet, having regard, of course, to the Petrotrin decision that we are now reeling from in terms of lack of foreign exchange that ought to be readily available and the lifeblood of this country, and of course, as a consequence of that decision, has created the sparring presence of that commodity that is so vital to our existence, and of course the mothballing of the oil refinery that, according to Imbert, subsequent to the bashing up or the disbanding of Petrotrin, that it was in fact a net earner of foreign exchange. All of those must be investigated, quite apart from, of course, the fake oil matter that really and truly was the basis for which the entire cabinet was either lured or conspired to, of course, protect one man from the 1.5 million of us. One man from, of course, facing the political, should I say, realities that would have come out as would have been resulted from, of course, his involvement in the fake oil matter, having, of course, confessed that his friend is the owner of AV Drilling, that was at the center of this fiasco. So we know and we understand. So let us not be, I'm saying all of that to say we must not be deflected by the attempt at deflection. Yes, we need to note it because it exists, but to pay and to give it oxygen more than is required, I think we'll be doing ourselves an injustice. That must be asphyxiated, must be suffering from lack of oxygen. Those issues, and we focus, of course, on those more relevant issues that will ensure that the electorate stay true to their commitment and go to the polls whenever the inevitable elections is called in 2025 and do their duty to ensure that Kamala Prasad and the UNC returns victorious and that the process of blue lights and silver bracelets begins as was promised and will be promised, and the opposition has no choice but to, of course, engage, having regard to the disquiet of the population in general. Labour Ministry, OJT fills 5,000 spaces annually. That is probably a good place to do some reading. I think need to understand what this 5,000 spaces is all about. My new people, I want you to bear in mind that is about, and I'm being, of course, concerned here, it's just about 18,000 will go in secondary system every year, but let's say we are talking about 15,000. So I'm being conservative, 15,000 in school every year. Let's hear what they have to say. 15,000 leaving school every year, therefore closer to the job market, if not looking for a job immediately, because the average person will leave school at around, let's say, 16, 17 years, and of course 2 years, 1 year before they are eligible to in our system to work without fetter. Let's hear what they have to say. Labour Ministry OJT fills 5,000 places annually. Remember, of course, some 15,000 leave school every year, and of course just multiply that by the 9 years and you'll get an appreciation. Yeah, let's hear what the ministry has to say. The Ministry of Labour, in a statement on November 25th, so that's good, said the on-the-job training OJT program facilitates over 5,000 practical training placements annually. So, of course, 5 9s, 45. So that would have been only 45,000 of the of course 9 by 15,000. You do the calculations. It said a program review will be done in 2025 to update data about the program and provide information to the ministry for its transformation. The statement quoted the International Labour Organization's 2019 hackathon report about OJT's effectiveness, which showed an 80.7% satisfaction rate. The report said 69% of participants were able to secure positions in their field of study or interest after being in the program. The program's director, Joanne David, said it was looking at expanding into new industries and sectors such as artificial intelligence, AI, construction, manufacturing, tourism, fashion, agriculture, oil and gas. Of course, as David said, that those industries represent the future of Trinidad and Tobago's economy. and it continues just about two more paragraphs. I think we get the gist of it. The program is now in its 22nd year and evolved from a modest internship initiative to a comprehensive career development uh, powerhouse, the statement said. It added the program partnered with more than 275 organizations in the public and the private sector. And I'll just read this final one because it's enough. Open quotation. These partnerships span 1,500 locations nationwide, offering opportunities in fields ranging from traditional administrative roles to cutting edge digital technologies and renewable energy opportunities, unquote. So clearly, what we know, there is a deficiency, and while the program itself and those who are in it may get great reviews according to the officials that have put out this statement, and of course, coming from a Rowley administration, you would know that you have to take it not just a pinch of salt or a bucket of salt, but a truckload of salt. But we take it for what it says. What we know is that it is woefully deficient in terms of the 15,000. I'm being conservative, is closer to about 17, but let's say 15,000 that will leave school every year. So it means it's a drop in the ocean of persons who would be on the job market and therefore finding their way into areas such as crime and criminality, such as gangs and gang warfare, such as, of course, maybe migration to other countries near and far in order, of course, to eke out a living. And of course, I use eke out a living in the context of gang warfare and the attachment or enrollment thereof, because that is what some young people see it as. Yes, an opportunity, of course, to belong somewhere, to attach themselves to persons who they consider to be caring for them. Of course, the police and the administration and the general public will not see it that way. But those who are involved and are gravitating certainly will. I remember very distinctly back in 2004, when, of course, the problem of a similar nature, where young people were taking the common entrance exam, back in I'm talking about 1984, so that's common entrance, not C, so we make the distinction. And of the 9,000 that would not be found, places will not be found for them in the secondary system, we had something like 900 of them coming from Laventille. As a consequence of that, the people themselves, led by yours truly, developed, of course, the Mobile Laventille Improvement Organization Trade School. And among the, of course, programs we did, clearly no different to what is being sold to us now, would have been the opportunity, of course, to go and work in the field that you would have been trained in. But the point I want to make is that just as then we were overwhelmed with the amount of persons on the streets that were unable to get into the program, and we are seeing this and this is a government program that so many have been left out because of the sheer numbers, and it is not statistically possible to talk success in the context of Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. And while the program itself may be successful, certainly Trinidad as a society has not been successful because of the displacement or the lack of opportunities of a large section of those who would have left the school and would like a place in the labor force. But unfortunately, this administration is unable to expand it in such a way. We have heard, of course, of 50,000 jobs being created and how it would be created. Because I heard the fellow we call Mr. Manifesto talking. Well, Kamala Prasad Bisesa did say that if he went back into his archives, he would see that during the course of the 2020 general elections, during the course of the local government elections. You will hear, of course, should I say, elements of how these jobs will be created, and of course, the state making a valiant intervention in order to lay the foundation for the realization of that initiative. That will be, of course, the subject. I know people don't like, some people don't like the MSF, but that will be the subject of a discussion by itself. I believe just as the evolution of the Russian society, and of course why it is that there is this conflict between Ukraine and Russia at this point in time. That is a separate discussion as opposed to the invasion by Russia and the cause of the invasion by Russia into Ukraine. It cannot be that, of course, it is not an invasion. That is a misrepresentation and an asinine position, frankly, and of course, an attempt to, if people believe that, to disseminate misinformation. And I challenge anyone on that matter. Let us talk about the reason for Russia going in, and you will really know how much Lennox Smith knows about that development consequence of the breaking up of the USSR. Right? So the United Soviet Union, of course, we are talking about here, back in 1922, coming out of the Bolshevik revolution that, of course, dominated Russian society, and the emergence of the USSR as a consequence. Yes, people, that is a different story altogether. I just give you a snippet, just in case anyone believe that they will want to engage in that kind of discussion. Yes, well, again, what we have again that is of importance as far as the information that we need to generate at this point in time and to bring to your attention. Court increases, of course, award. Yes, we said that already. Boy 13 among 5 in Tobago. Yes, we said that already. Robinson Regis opposition will accept wage increases if approved by Parliament. Of course, we know that is a sort of dangling a carrot stick with, of course, a square peg in wrong hole argument. Rambali calls for more police patrols in Chaguanas after home invasion. That's another one that we probably could take a look at in terms of getting an appreciation as to what he's talking about, in spite, of course, of the fact of his position. And I'm sure that his position is not just tenuous. I think is almost a feat accomplished, having regard, of course, to commit to the propensity of persons to commit political suicide. And the political career has come to an abrupt end, no doubt. I will be surprised if the opposite is the case. But I will be forced, of course, to confess that I did say so and that I was wrong. Raleigh calls for more police patrol in Chaguanas after a home invasion. Well, let's see what's happening there. Chaguanas West MP Dinesh Rambly is calling on Police Commissioner Una Pierwood Christopher to implement more patrols in the area after another home invasion. In a statement on November 25th, Rambly said 3 attackers entered the home of a Charleville businessman and terrified and assaulted his family at 3 a.m. that day. While he praised the police prompt response, he said the assailants were still at large. Rambly added, quoting, "And as we approach the Christmas season, I urge the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to increase police patrols in our Chaguanas areas. We must ensure that our neighborhoods are safe and that our residents can enjoy the festive season without fear. He said the victims of the home invasion had asked if 3 CCTV cameras could assist with the investigation. And of course, it continues. Let me just read just one more piece there. As of now, despite their pleas, whether footage or information can assist in bringing the criminals to justice remains unclear. So that's one part. I see there's something with, of course, Minister of National Security responsible. Well, Minister, yeah, the joint ministry. So Minister in the Ministry of National Security with responsibility for crime, talking about, of course, Scotland. And I think there's something here with respect to him. He said that on November 8th, Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Keith Scotland, spoke of joint police and army patrols in Chaguanas and San Fernando. Yes, he did visit there, and I think, of course, the mayor told him out of courtesy, well, please, I'm just informing her. You're coming to my domain, how the hell you want to get assisted if you are not here 24/7. Residents and the businessmen have to, of course, meet those challenges when you would have
Lennox Smith, you can take calls when you're ready.
Make a visit.
Yeah, Lennox Smith, you are live on Guyana Caribbean, everything there, and you can take calls and voice notes that you just sent me. It's just the technical staff just dealing with since with all those things there, which thank God we have those things in place, people to be able to deal with the situations when it come up with immediate effect. Right, so you go ahead, at least we can take calls for now and we can organize and do the voice notes, and you can organize and open the lines and
yeah, but let me pause here, and you do the honors in terms of the lines are open, of course, and we get the opportunity to.
I would not be seen, I would not be seen until some other things had to be put in place. And then it has no background and no virtual DJs until other things put in place. But it's working on at this point in time.
In other words, would you be able to read out the voice notes?
Yeah. The voice notes and calls, that in order, back in order.
Saying that you will not be visible.
No, I wouldn't be, I can't until,
this is my understanding of what you're saying.
Where's the whole thing, rather reset?
So you speak in the background?
Yeah, I'll be in the background for now.
Not the first time, we have been there before, so people, of course, we apologize for any lack of video as far as Andy is concerned. He is at my.
Now, don't worry about that. You have the video, so open the lines thing. You are not apologize for. You in okay. At times I alone. At times you alone.
Because they can't so you go ahead. So we have to, Andy. Don't tell me I must apologize. Yes, we have to apologize. So the lines are open, and of course you could read. You could deal with the voicemails as you see fit.
Nice. So the lines are open. Well, you go ahead. You have the numbers there. The numbers to call 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or give us a WhatsApp call or send a WhatsApp voice note at 366-3053, 366-3053. The lines are open. Go ahead by the time, Lennox Smith.
Yes, indeed. So I was making the point. The lines are open. People don't forget, and of course, we will play your voicemail momentarily. Whilst, of course, internal issue is resolved at command headquarters, so to speak. All right. So if you're seeing Lennox Smith alone in the video because of that technicality, so our apology once again. Yes. So in the case of the home invasions. I want to say, in conclusion of that aspect of it, having been, of course, being from what Ramley would have said, and the minister, let me just get the minister's version of it so that I can get back to where I left off. Yes, so on November, the minister, he paid a visit there. He said joint patrols were part of a ramped up initiative that would extend into the first quarter of 2025 to address crime challenges. That sounds like deja vu. We have heard that before. We find, and I'm quoting him here now, we find that the challenges we face in the ministry do not allow anyone to sit any longer in an office. So probably that's why he went out. And I thought he was the man who said he'd ride a bicycle to work. And to work, I suspect would have been to his office. But of course, so he's not. If he didn't get a car, he will ride. He will ride to work. Of course, it's just short of saying he would walk to work. But I suppose it's not as logical or as plausible, especially if he's coming from Diego Martin and has his office in Port of Spain. To say he'd walk to work with would be taking, of course, that lie or that piece of disinformation too far. So he continues. I certainly will not be sitting in an office. I am going on the ground. The battle would not be won in office alone. Unquote. Of course, the article continues. He added that he was not interfering with the officers' day-to-day operations and was there to give support. Scotland said he had held meetings with the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce and the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce, focusing on crime reduction strategies and law enforcement collaboration. He underscored that those efforts were part of a larger long-term plan that had been in the works for months. Well, sorry to burst your bubble or your balloon, Mr. Scotland, but we have heard that before. We have heard of course, of this scuttling of the blimp. Remember that? We have heard of the scuttling of 360 degrees radar. We have heard about, of course, more police for regional corporations. How much? 1,000? Well, so far, I think on the last count is 400. I'm talking about 2 years ago. So if you're talking months, I would expect that months will not cumulatively amount to a year. Otherwise, you'll have to say in the last year and a half thereabout, or a year and 2 months, as the case may be. So months has to be within, of course, the confines of months within the calendar year called 2024. And we are saying that we heard that before. So there's no confidence that would imbue. You have to come up with something more creative and much more practical. He continues, of course, I'm quoting here now, the feeling of safety is something that we have to engender. We have to give the public a sense of comfort and that we are doing something. I feel if the public sees this joint patrol, they will get that sense of comfort. Well, Mr. Minister of National Security with responsibility for crime, Scotland, Keith Scotland, representative for Port of Spain South. But I want to tell you, in the past, we have had not just police patrols, but we have had police substations. They had police posts. I'm talking plural here. Put at the corner of Duncan and Prince Street. We have seen, of course, in Mango Rose. We have seen on the Beatum. We have seen around Sealands. Listen. If the police posts, which would have meant, of course, a greater presence or a much more efficacious ability to generate the manpower when it is necessary, and that ain't work. And that came because John was
Hold 1 minute, Lennox Smith.
so ineffective.
Go ahead, caller.
But go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Morning, Lennox. Morning. Yeah,
Yes,
calling from New York. Andy, I'm trying to get a boat to go from Trinidad to Tobago. And lo and behold, how they could put, we have one boat operating in Trinidad, from Trinidad to Tobago, and you go put the next ferry that you have on docks to repair in a time like this, when it's coming to be the Christmas season, when everybody is busy trying to go to and fro from Trinidad to Tobago. Who is the nincompoop running this kind of operation? You could put a ferry in dry docks when a season like this is on us. Why we couldn't do that somewhere down early part of the year? You know, or the middle of the year when we don't have this influx of people trying to get to and fro. It takes 12 hours or 15 hours to get on a plane to come from New York to go to Tobago. You have to stay in Trinidad for like 10 hours to get to Tobago. Why? We should have that a boat run too. It takes 2 hours to go on a boat from Trinidad to Tobago. Why it is we have a ferry on dry docks up to this time? Why? Who? I mean to say we had no kind of foresight. Everything we had to wait till Kamala come in to structure everything. This is my front burner this morning, Andy. Thank you, Lennox.
And your anger is well placed, caller, because I'm sure that speaking from a personal experience, clearly, and trepidation to experience that level. But let me tell you that it appears to be typical of this government. It was Rowley, of course, who opened the ribbon for night one, and about a week or two afterwards, it blew up, not once but twice. So, and of course, the announcement was made with respect, of course, to the ferry dock going on dry dock, but it was also told to the public that the galleon passage will now be deployed, and so of course ease that which you are concerned about. But if you are in New York or whatever part of that you are, and you are making preparations from there, clearly, because the technology is supposed to be so accommodating, and you cannot get across there because there is one boat working. It means therefore the public were told a lie, because they said that one of the two new boats that was recently deployed, it's in 2 years yet, and of course claim that there will be greater efficiency by Rowley, having of course decimated the sea bridge.
Come, sir. Excuse me. Come.
We have a caller.
You just discriminate against me. No. Don't discriminate. You discriminate. You watch your players. No, you don't have. If you have a problem, ask me. I will help you. You people are so dumb, stupid, and ignorant. Dumb, stupid, and ignorant. Dumb, stupid, and ignorant. Go away.
Yeah. Yes, my friend. Go ahead and vent, man, because of course that is what they deserve. They are stupid and ignorant indeed.
Go ahead, next caller.
Andy,
Go ahead, Mother Bernie. Go ahead.
listen to me. I send a voice note. They are not in the country, are out of the country. And I want a to hear that voice note. They are play it.
Okay, and I must also congratulate Farley. I see in today's papers, Farley actually come out to and stand up with the opposition.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was very, very good. That was very, very good of him.
You know, he cannot be saying all sorts of things because, you know, as you say anything, you belong to the opposition. And you hear what one of them said? One of them said they want them to vote the 2 seats in Tobago to give it to the opposition. We don't care once it's not PNM. We don't care once it's not PNM.
Yeah, they will conjure up those illusions because they believe it should be them.
Yeah.
And they know that
I'll play the voice note and I want to let you hear.
Yes, I will play the voice note. I will.
Yeah, we're going on with me in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Because
I said to that because I have it here. I'm looking for it now when I see it. Ms. Bunny, if you can send it to my My phone too, it will be all right. Even if she's off, I know that she's listening, so you can send it. 337-6940, that's the number to send it at. All right. So, Andy, are we off
Yes,
again?
yes. Next caller. Morning caller. Where you calling from? What's your contribution on the Go report this morning?
Morning again, Pitbull. Is the Barack for you? Pitbull, you know, plenty of people just call and talk about the crime situation in the country and what the opposition going to do about it and all this kind of thing. But you ask anybody, what suggestion you could offer so that the opposition could look into it and see how they could address it? Nobody would come out with that. But I could tell you, do we say 12, 15 years ago, 90% of this population would have never ever thought they would be preparing themselves to be victim of crime in the country, especially home invasion and like robbery and all these kind of things. You know now, presently now, over 90% of this population is preparing now to get robbed in the country, to be victims of crime. That is just how this country have turned 180 degrees with 10 years of governance from Rowley. When you use a cut a lawn in front of your house, you're looking at, you could walk into your property just so now. Instead of cutting lawn, you had to paint high walls and secure barbed wires and all these kind of things. When you could have stay outside in your yard and do a little barbecue and thing on an evening with your friends and family and thing, you had to be indoors. All these kind of things people had to look at, how their life has changed. Before, your grocery bill was about a little $2,000 a month. Now it's about $5,000 because you had to include dog food. You had to include all kind of dog shampoo, all kind of things for your animal, them that you're minding in your home now. All these are things where people have to understand what this man has done. And to address the crime situation, let me tell you something. Any crime, look at two partners who get locked up in the SOE when they had it at that time. One deceased now because he fall back into the system, one still alive. And you know them say the best thing could have ever happened to them, the one that's still living, was that SOE. Because any conflict, you see like the gang war and thing, any conflict, if you have a domestic violence situation in your home, the first thing they just tell you, hear what? You need a little space and time away from each other. So they could probably tell the man go by his mother or some kind of thing, leave the woman home and thing, and give you some space and time to relax yourself, calm down, rethink what you're really the road you're really going down. And these what the criminal entity in this country needs right now. They need a little time and space away from each other to know that, oh, hey, hear what? I am a young 23, 24-year-old person. It have a whole life there for me to live, to become old, see children and things. But how the thing going on right now, and it's so active, and it's so violent, them don't have no time to think. They don't have no time to reflect on tomorrow, or the children, or the future, or anything like that. So the only thing they have right now is a way to defend themselves when the other person come in to kill them. These young people, them don't want to dead enough. All these fellas, them are killing themselves. The 500 and something of them, we don't get killed in this country and thing through gang violence and thing. You feel a man want to get up in the morning and know I'm 18, 19 years old, I want to go and dead. They don't want to die. They want to live. But what is there? What's the future hold for them? What hope they have? There's none. A man want to get up in the morning and instead of go and say, like long time. Long time you get up as a young boy, you hustle 3-4 little small work. You have a little 1,000, 1,500 in your pocket. Now, people want to go and hustle again. A man want to get up and know I leave in my home, pack a lunch kit, kiss your wife goodbye and say, I'm going to work. I'm going to a job, a 8 to 4, a 5 to 9 job, so that I guarantee something at the end of the month, at the end of the week, so that my children know I could put things in place and secure and know that they have a future when time for secondary school, university and thing. And that is the direction that the UNC was putting this country in. But they didn't want that. They wanted to remain hustling. I'm going and hustle by the wharf. I'm going and hustle on the road in a PH taxi. I'm going and hustle drugs. When you go to the drugstore, why you just go to the drugstore? And because you're sick. So what you just go for? To buy drugs? So when a government could legalize marijuana in a country, what they're telling the population, and all of us sick. Look at how drugs are available for all, stay home and smoke and get sick in all your house and get mental breakdown and thing, kill your father, mother, rob your grandmother and all this kind of thing. That's what this government has done. Civilized places don't do them kind of thing. You cannot give people drugs and tell them be happy. You give sick people drugs to try to get them better. Every single thing that this government has done for the last 9 years, especially Rowley, has made this country sick, has put the law-abiding citizen against the wall just for their own personal gains. He and Imbut with their agenda. And if people don't wake up and understand that yet, and we don't try to do something about it, Haiti, here we come. Have a good morning. Take care.
Oh boy, so let me run some voice notes there now, Lennox Smith.
Yeah, go ahead. Go right ahead, my friend. Of course, just if you're not seeing Andy, it's because he is in the background attending to some technical issues that we are engaged in at this point in time, but we are determined to, under any and all conditions, to bring the program to you. And of course, we have a time from 6 in the morning to 10 o'clock, and we certainly will do it. Whether he is there alone, I am there alone, we are there together, or Mikey alone, or two of us, as the case may be. But rest assured, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, full strength, we are here, of course, to bring religiously and devotedly what is required in order to give you the ammunition to go fervently to the polls and do your duty, because the country you save will certainly be your own. And I'm particularly talking and referencing the young people who would have turned 18 this year, last year, and will turn 18 before the next elections. Please go and get registered and therefore acquire your ID card. You will need it for a number of things, but more importantly, or most importantly, to vote. To vote.
Andy Williams, good morning. This is Mother Bernie. I'm here in St. Martin and I'm listening to the ground report. I'm also reading the news we're going on in the country. How could Watson Duke say that he agrees that with the money for Rowley, that Rowley must get every cent? How could you agree with a man like that? Public servants getting 4%, no raise of pay for nobody, no pensioners, no nobody, but he must get a raise of pay to go. What work is he doing for him to receive a pay? Watson Duke is looking for political mileage, which he will never get. His political career is dead. I don't care what nobody in Tobago says about him. He's showing that he's deceitful, wicked, and all the things that is not good in this country. You cannot agree with a man for punishing his citizens, not giving Tobago money to run Tobago, not doing anything for the country, going out every minute on a trip and coming back with nothing to benefit the country, and you saying he deserves every cent that he have. He works nowhere. The only time he goes anywhere is in Parliament. How often? And talks a sort of rubbish that will make the opposition look like they're not of any use to this country. He does nothing. I am in St. Martin here, and they want, when we tell them a story about the Forex, they open their mouth and want to know if we're crazy. If we're crazy, we hear the man trying to find out if Trinidad and Tobago money could be used in St. Martin and what it is value, and we know he don't have none, but let him find out. Because the people they want the sales, so they're trying to, if you don't have Forex, if they could use them money where we have that ain't good for nothing. What Rowley doing? What Rowley really doing to the country? And you see, doing these things because some people don't travel, they don't know what's going on in the outer world. And when they come with that conversation and say it happens all over, these people will listen to what they say because they goes nowhere. They knows nothing. And what he's telling is damn lie. These things don't happen. They happen in Trinidad and Tobago because we have a dictator. We have a communist. We have a man who decides that he must keep his people down. The rich must get richer and the poor must suffer. The poor can't get nothing off the rich. Even the business people who cannot get forex to buy the goods, I go in a supermarket before I come up here and I see the shelf and them empty. They can't buy goods. So what this man really saying, what Watson Duke, who should be the person to stand up with Farley to get Tobago up and running, you agreeing with everything where Rowley said, well, he was a second dictator. You just like Keith Christopher. And we see in Tobago now that if you was this chief secretary, or you had get an opportunity to be the prime minister, but the people of Trinidad and Tobago would have been under siege with you too, because you evil too. You not a nice person. You want to get something where you wouldn't get. And we want this country and we want to live better. So I am out here and I'm observing everything. Yesterday they had 5 groups and today they have 5 more. This is how they make tourism in St. Martin, and the stores and them comes out on the outside and open up their goods so that the tourists could see what they have. And they have a lot of souvenir shops. So we have in Tobago, you wouldn't sign off the thing for Tobago, for Scarborough to develop, because it's not your party doing it. So you don't want it to develop because you want to look good. Like if it's Hollywood win and you want to go on the Hollywood Hall of Fame, you don't want Tobago to look good. But God is an able God, and we know He said let we hold with peace and He go fight with battle for we. And we're waiting. We Trinidad and Tobago people don't get up for nothing. They want somebody to fight for them. And when they win the fight, hear them, yeah, we win. Yeah, we win without your input. Your input is not there, so you're not of no significance to this country. Let we get up and fight for what is right, because Trinidad and Tobago is nowhere. Oh, you have a good morning.
Mother Bernie is a deceitful woman. That is the same Watson all the embrace and praise how he's the best thing since sliced bread. You deceitful Tobagonian.
Pleasant good morning.
I'd be
Good
like,
morning.
that one man.
Yeah,
Like what's
what
now?
this lady saying is facts and it's factual. I mean, I just give an example: the management or the managers who run in the UNC to know when to step up the game or not. If Rowdy decide to say, all right, the beginning of February is election, a snap election, because you know Carnival, they go get this distorted there too, so you know what's going on. What going on happening? A distortion? She got to start scrambling. That is all they're trying to say. Get the ground troops on them up and running, and let we take it from there. At least let people start seeing them, seeing their face for the Christmas season or something. You understand what I'm saying? Let them start seeing them. Pick she people, get she people on them. Don't use the last strategy she had. That perhaps they don't counteract in that. Change it up. Don't use that. You understand? And the next thing too, with this property tax, Lennox, I don't know if you answer that question, but I don't know if Tobago paying that or if them exempted from that, paying property tax. Tobago, I ain't hearing nothing from Tobago. All right, blessings everyone.
Well, quickly, all supposed to pay.
Pleasant good morning, good morning. Andy, yeah, think what this lady saying is facts and it's factual. I mean, I just give an example: the management or the managers who run in the UNC to know when to step up the game or not. If Rowdy decide to say, all right, the beginning of February is election, a snap election, because you know Carnival, they go get this distorted there too, so you know what's going on. What going on happening? A distortion? She got to start scrambling. That is all they're trying to say. Get the ground troops on them up and running, and let we take it from there. At least let people start seeing them, seeing their face for the Christmas season or something. You understand what I'm saying? Let them start seeing them. Pick she people, get she people on them. Don't use the last strategy she had. That perhaps they don't counteract in that. change it up. Do use that. You understand? And the next thing too, with this property tax, Lennox, I don't know if you answer that question, but I don't know if Tobago paying that or if them exempted from that, paying property tax. Tobago, I ain't hearing nothing from Tobago. All right, blessings everyone.
Yeah, well, I said it is the law of
Andy, good morning.
Tobago is not exempted from.
You know what I don't understand? And what told the University of the West Indies Union that he given them 4% and if they don't want it, leave it. You know, in today Express, he said he didn't negotiate anything for the university. This man is such a liar that he has short memory. He just forget what he said in one day time, and he should get the hell out of there.
Hey, Lennox, good morning, Mikey, Kay, and Andy. Lennox, I want to know what's going on with this police getting released and then recharge. I don't understand it. What's going on there, Lennox, with that? What's going on? How the police movement decisive, so I don't understand that. They didn't know the man was guilty in the first place. I don't understand it.
Andy, morning, boy. Like something wrong with the ground report, but sometimes again someone's a breakthrough, boy. I was giving a comment and I get cut off. I didn't realize I get cut off. I am hearing your voice. I'm hearing Lennox. Lennox frustrating. Come now, man. Say something now, Andy.
Andy, Mikey, K, Lennox, Metro and Tobago Central here. Good morning. Andy, I can't believe it. What's going on with this dirty-minded, corrupted, care on a country, empty-headed, bad mind, PNM government, you know? What is their problem with this sweet, nice, educated platform, this solid program? They're only playing up and down, hide and seek with the current, on and off. What really wrong with these people, boy? It hurting them to know UNC coming back in power. The days are numbered. Right, you know, only cutting the life. They need to cut the cell off. They need to cut the self off. Don't cut nothing here. You understand what I'm saying? Trimbegonas, all the can see the kind of nastiness discipline will be doing, boy. All what they're doing, they're still going on lost election. Because one thing that can't change is the people mindset. People don't set their mind prep and waiting already. PNM too nasty. When it's an election time and people putting up the banners and the posters, the dirty-handed and the PNM mightiest on them. The parasites some of them is. Who can't understand the government digging out the eye and leaving the two hole in the head? When people putting up them things for election, they're ripping it down. They're breaking it down. All that they just be doing under the cylinder plus in election. They're so foolish some of them is. All you stop be so PNM mightiest. Put all yourself first. And government after. Because that is how we just function. Self first, government after. And government have to do that. But in this case, this PNM government putting the self first. And people after. Everything wrong is right for PNM. All you understand what's going on, right, Trinbagonians? If you know this, I'm so vexed this morning. I only have to be clicking back on. You understand what I'm saying? The vex is hurting them to know people coming on locked on the live. That's what hurting PNM mightiest and them and this dirty government. This PNM kind of sycophants kind of behavior. Oh gosh, man, it's sickening, you know. Real sickening, man. That's why they're afraid to call a date and time. Because they don't know it's politically mash up they're going on get. We done said the dead already. Waiting to be buried. You understand? 6 feet under and further more for them, boy. PNM too sickening. They're too blight. How much more in this we could take, man? Just remember, Trinbagonians, yellow is the code and pay them nothing. And it's that. Andy, Mighty K, Lennox, Metro, and Tobago Central here. Good morning. Andy, me a line, you know. This thing real upset me to be seeing that only cutting all your life, you know. But why this dirty-minded, corrupted, underneath, bad mind, can't run a country, PNM, just don't come out of people's side, boy. Why them just not go in a corner and sit down and go and dig a hole and bury themselves, under the earth, boy? Every single thing that will have goodness in it. This is our educated, serious platform here, you know. And every time that the life starting to build, they keep on cutting the life. You understand what I'm saying? What they only playing on and off with the electricity for? Play on and off with all yourself. Play hide and seek with all yourself. All this you don't care run nothing in this place. This dirty PNM government. Where people can't stand them no more. They're just wasting time in this life. If you don't pay them so sickening, watch now, every single morning they get up. If you're not God in here, boy, me ain't know what going to take place in this country now. Anything that have goodness in it, PNM hate it. They don't like to see unity. They only want to see division. They only want to see blood. They only want to see all kind of chaosness in this country, Trinbagonians. We as the people, we as the law-abiding citizen in this country, how much more we could take this all year? We keep on saying the same thing, thank God, God bless the ground report. More people locked down and listening, is each time they come in and they're cutting the electricity, as Andy say. Why are they doing that? Just so like when it's election time and people putting up the posters and the flyers and all these things, they're ripping it down, they're breaking it down. And you know what the end result is? They're still going on loss. That is the end result. They're still going on get mashed up politically. PNM is too dirty and they're too bold-faced and advantageous. If for no other reason, they're really going to get mashed up and pelted out from in that comfort zone that they like in that place up in there. That is the reason why they're going to get pelted, because all is too advantageous. You understand what I'm saying? This PNM government, all are too wicked, and we'll continue saying it until all they get rooted out from that comfort zone. You understand what I'm saying? Anytime anything of goodness in this is what you're doing. When people put up their posters, all they're breaking it down. All of us see it for all themselves, Trinbagonians. And as we say, the end result is they're still going to get licks left, right, and center. Watch it and you're going to see. That's why he don't want to call a date and time in this country. It's power and money this man is on. He not for no citizen in this country. PNM is too wicked and we'll continue saying it. Remember the code is yellow all the way. With one people, one nation, is one love here, one unity. PNM nothing. Yellow is the code, and it's that.
Nice, Lennox. Don't forget we have to wrap up in the next 2 minutes. So
yes. Well, of course, it was a challenge to some extent, but we have made it.
Let me just take this one call before we wrap up.
My apology once again to those who would have liked to join us in terms of
Lennox. Let me just take this one call before I wrap up. Go ahead, Mr. Ramnarine.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, Mikey K.
Good morning, my friend.
What I want to say, you know, this guy lies so damn much. It's a shame. But you know, when the strike with the union and University West Indies, I think it was on Friday newspaper. He said he offered them 4%, and if they don't want to leave it. This morning news in the Express, he said he didn't negotiate anything with the university at the West Indies. So why these guys have short memory? They can't remember what they said 10 minutes ago and 10 minutes after something different. This guy is such a liar. They should give me a polygraph test and he'll fail everyone. And you know, I don't have nothing more to say except that.
Oh Lord, not easy.
Nice. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, don't forget, tonight, Corridor Transformation with yours truly, Lennox Smith at 8 o'clock. And well, no observers tonight, every last Wednesday or the month or something so. So no observers tonight, but you'll get Corridor Transformation tonight with yours truly, Lennox Smith at 8 o'clock. So Trinidad and Tobago, after God, family comes first. Be safe on the nation's road. Guile the Caribbean, and to all of those of you that look on to us in Guile TV, Guile the Caribbean, a pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. Thanks so much again for giving us the opportunity for your to your ears, to your homes, and to your hearts. All right, we look forward in you all looking on to us tomorrow, please God. The start time of the program is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. We start on the various social media network, Real Media TT Facebook, Real Media TT YouTube, Corridor Transformation, Facebook, Workers' Right. It have all the things plus the Ground Report YouTube. All right, so we start at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we be joined by Guile the TV, or Guile the Caribbean at 8, or from 8 to 10. So thanks so much. On behalf of the Ground Report team, yours truly, the Pitbull of Radio, is saying we are out of here just until tomorrow.
Good night to all and sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh boy.
And if you're hearing me, call me after the book after you knock off.